Hey guys, this is Iceberg, and today I'm reviewing the Fosi Audio IM4. These are the very first IEMs from this brand, which usually makes cool DACs, amp at a nice price. And now they decided to take the first step into IEMs, and damn, it looked promising. I saw a tons of positive impressions at the Can Jam about IM4 and thought I should test them and tell you about it, guys. Okay, for $80 you get an open back design, aluminum shells, a beryllium DD, an ergonomic shape and a bunch of tuning options. So let's see what Fosi Audio could cover us in their debut model, and if you're new here, subscribe, like, and let's get started. And before we begin, I wanna thank the Fosi Audio team for the EM4. These guys are always step ahead with their cool new releases, and if you're looking for a reliable store for audiophile gear, just check out Fosi Audio, they won't disappoint you. And now, let's jump into the review. Alright, the Fosi Audio IM4 comes in a minimalist black box with a shiny shell image, the Fosi logo and the model name on the front. While on the back we can see the model specifications and information about the company. Inside the box we have the shells themselves recessed in a foam, a 2-pin cable with 3.5mm jack, 3 sets of silicone ear tips, balanced ones for bass and for deep bass, brass nozzles, spacious and comfy Fosi case, user manual, and special attentions goes to the Fosi Sync node, which really melt me. Thank you guys, much respect to you too. Getting back to the cable, it's really quality ones here, and it's no surprise, because Fosi knows what they are doing. Okay, this is 5N high purity OFC cable with silver platings, 2-pin plugs, a gold plated 3.5 jack, and metal fittings. The color indications on the sides won't get you wrong when connecting, since red is the right side and blue is the left. The cable feels soft and flexible, doesn't get tangled or interfere when listening, and even has no microphonic effect. In my versions, the cable is dark grey with black fittings, but if you want a more bright cable, go for the silver color options, which is brighter with the silver fittings. Well, the IM4 comes with the 3 sets of silicone ear tips. The first is balanced with a wide bore, the next is bass tips with a standard bore, and the last is for deep bass with a narrow bore. They are made of quite stiff and dense silicone, don't hold their shape well, and a bit discomforting for me. So after trying them all, I found the balanced ear tips too bright for me, and with the deep bass ones, I miss the sparkle and light shine, so the bass ear tips are the best for me, as they deliver the tuning that was intended by Fosi engineers. You guys don't be afraid to experiment with different ear tips, because they are not only affect the feed, but also significantly change the sound. Okay, getting back to the shells, Fosi did a really great job here. And it's not just about their design. Well, the shells are made of CNC aluminum with a matte black finish. Also, the EM4 is available in silver if you are fond of a bright color options. On the faceplate we can see the several grills that creates an open design, which makes the sound more lively and not locked in, which I really like. On the inner side we can see a detachable nozzle with medium length and width, which you can easily replace with the brass one included in the set, and there is also vent here. At the top we can see one more vent, the model name and channel indication. And on the side there is a 2-pin connection. The EM4 shells have a medium size, ergonomic shape with anatomical curve inside, and quite light, weighing less than 7 grams each. This all makes them nice and comfy for long listening sessions. In my small ears they fit deeply and securely, creating a snug fit without any pressure or discomfort. They don't stick out or create a vacuum effect, and thanks to their minimalist design, they are completely unnoticeable, making them ideal for the office, conferences, or even musicals on the stage. Regarding sound isolation, due to the open design it's average, and isolates around half of external noise, so yeah, I would recommend using them in a quieter environment. Alright folks, before we get into the IM4 sound impressions, let's take a quick look at their graph to see what Fosi Audio prepared for us. The first thing we notice here is the raised starting line at 78 Hz in the sub-bass region, which is boosted for the energetic bass that Fosi Audio talks about. The mid-bass goes down smoothly and not as aggressive as the sub-bass, staying around 66 Hz, which is not bass head levels, but won't let you get bored either. Moving on to the mid-range, we can see a fairly smooth and flat line with slightly raised lower mids for male vocals and instruments, as well as natural rise to the upper mids with the peak at 2.5 kHz, which gives more presence and clarity to the vocals and instruments. The treble is slightly raised as Fosi says, but without brightness or intrusive whistling. So here we see a wave-life graph with a peak at 5.2 and exactly at 8 kHz for more air and extension, but also some dips that may affect the sparkle and pleasant brightness of the treble, which I will definitely check. Overall, for me, this is not another Harman-like graph, but a fun, universal and quite easy one with a Fosi Audio bias. Slightly raised bass for the space, protruding lower mids and upper mids for emphasis on vocals and instruments, and unobtrusive treble combined with the open back design should satisfy with its sound and open stage. Well, do the IM4 really sounds like the graph shows? Let's check it out. For full immersion and maximum compatibility, I use the IM4 with the desktop DAC Fosi Audio K7, and I must admit, they are made for each other, not only in design, but also in approach to the sound reproduction. The K7 with its AKM chips added velvety warmth and smoothness, making them sound wider, more detailed and more dynamic. Like the IM4 is waking up for this DAC. The IM4 delivers a neutral warm sound with a slightly emphasis on the sub-bass and airy treble. And with the open back design, there are air and space, like music is flying around your head instead of being locked inside. If you hear a flat and bland sound from your phone or a simple dongle, here you get a 3D picture of what is happening conveyed you through music. So in direct mode with the K7, this IM sounds neutral, slightly V-shaped, but after adjusting the bass by +2 and the treble by +1, I felt that I had a sweet spot. The bass becomes meaty and deep, and the treble adds sparkle, but without harshness. The bass in the IM4 is not about excess, but balance and texture. It's deep, slightly elevated, but clean and controlled, without the typical dirty blurriness of budget models. Thanks to the 10mm beryllium coated DD driver, the lows are linear with a slight lift, but don't hit your ears. With the brace nozzle, the bass is more restrained and precise, while with aluminum ones, it adds a fun with more slam and rumble. In the sub-bass region, the IM4 shows its range, with confident extension and a solid rumble that doesn't fade away but vibrates deeply. The sub-bass is not just a hum, but a soft texture roar that you can feel in your bones, without putting pressure on your ears. I was shocked at how it sounds in open back design. Usually such IM sacrifice deep for air, but the IM4 keeps the balance like a pro. With deep bass ear tips, the rumble is amplified and the tracks turn in a cozy, intimate message for the soul, which is perfect for chill out sessions. Let's move on to the mid bass, which is my favorite region in IM4. The mid bass here is tight, crisp and punchy, but without the bloat found in some single drivers. The mid bass texture is excellent, allowing you to recognize the layers. With the brace nozzle it adds warmth, and the lows it becomes fuller with a slight growl that makes the rock and hip hop so lively. And the control here is delightful, guys. There is no bleed in the mids, so the bass doesn't mask the vocals but emphasize it. The M4 doesn't just show the bass loudly, they are detailed, so you hear the nuances, like the vibration of the strings on the bass guitars or harmonics in orchestral hit. The only downside is that in really bassy tracks, like dubstep, the rumble might seem a bit modest compared to closer back IEMs. but for open back design it's a benefit. The bass doesn't get tiring, but keeps you happy for hours. The mid-range in the IM4 is smooth as silk, natural to the touch, with excellent timbre that doesn't sound fake in the least. There is no false coloring typical of the budget models, instead everything is organic and lively, with the warmth of single dynamic drivers that makes the sound not analytical but real. The resolution is high, the details are clearly defined but without aggressions, and the vocals are always in the foreground. Proud and confident, without recessions or fatigue. Now let's talk about the magic of nozzles, because the EM4 thinks. With the brace nozzles, the mix becomes warmer, thicker and more substantial. They add a cozy, lush atmosphere and the vocals take on a velvety texture. The guitar sounds rich with mid and soul, and instruments like the saxophone or strings simply melt you in the ears with their organic sound. There is no harshness, only a smooth emotional flow that is ideal for genres where feeling are important, such as jazz, soul and acoustic. And the vocals, oh my lord, they are haunting, piercing to the core. Every note hangs in the air, warm and emotional, with such intimacy that it gives you goosebumps. With aluminum nozzles, the situation changes and the mix becomes drier, crisper and more incisive. They lost some of the warmth, becoming slightly gaunt in the upper mids, but in exchange they gain super clarity and transparency. Details come to the surface, separations improves, and everything sounds more analytical. This is for those who like dig into the track. The guitar cuts through the air sharply, but naturally, the vocals remain forward, just with the less mid and more emphasized on the texture. There is no blurring, everything is coherent and dynamic. And if you take jazz, the mids are clear and detailed, with organic percussion, and vocals that drown out but flowed, crisp but not tiring, which is ideal for jazz vibes. The treble in IM4 is bright but not blinding, with excellent extension that adds air and sense of space. There is no harshness or metallic feel here, only a smooth, refined texture that reveals details without fatigue. The open back design works wonders, allowing the treble to breathe, adding naturalness, like you are not using IEMs but at outdoor concert. This is the treble for everyone from rockers to chilled out fans, forgiving of poor recordings, but rewarding with high-res tracks. Brass nozzles are party mode for the treble, adding sparkle and effervescence, making the treble sparkling, extended and full of life. Here the treble becomes bolder, with a slight lift at 5 kHz that emphasizes air and harmonics, but without overpowering. Percussions and cymbals sounds with a metallic tone that adds sparkle like fireworks. The guitar is vibrant and energetic. In rock and metal, these electronic guitars, they're cut through like a laser, with shimmering highs on solos that add vibrant and punch, but not spicy, and it's put drive. And in electronic music, the percussion is shimmery and textured, like bubble in a bath, airy, detailed, with micro details. Brass makes the treble playful and inviting, perfect for rock and electronic music, where the treble needs to dance. Switching to aluminum nozzles, and the treble becomes elegant, more controlled and analytical. They remove excess sparkle, adding precision and smoothness. The treble gets linear, with tighter focus on details, without gauntlets in the upper treble. Here the extension is the same, but with damping that prevents any peaks. The cymbals are crisp but restrained, the strings are silky but refined, and the percussion is silky and articulate, without bloom. This is for those who like to dig deeper, where the treble reveals the layering in the track. In rock the treble is perceptive and clear, with guitar solos that sparkle subtly but with control, without stridency, only pure and motive brilliance. And if you take something heavier, like metal, the treble handles complex tracks with grace, guitar is sharp but not biting, cymbals crash with authority, and vocals harmonics and ethereal, and haunting, without fatigue, even in blast beats. Aluminum saves you from those bites in aggressive tracks, making the sounds analytical but still human, warm enough and not boring. The soundstage in IM4 is like a panoramic window. It's really wide, so the instrument spreads out to the sides, creating an illusion of openness, with the feeling that its music is swirling around your head like a whirlwind, rather than a bean clock inside your ears. The diff is solid and noticeable, not endless, but enough to keep the vocals in the front and the rhythm section in the back. The height, frankly, is limited, but the air and space compensates by adding vertical nuances through harmonics, so the stage doesn't seem flat, but rather long and large. The imaging here is excellent, and the positioning is precise like a laser, so each instrument is positioned in its own corners without messing up. The separation is average to good, so the tracks doesn't turn into the mush, but it's not perfectly spread out like in analytical IEMs. The open back design gives you a sense of air and space, and even compared to the closed back ones, the sounds breathe, fatigue free, and you forget about the isolation, because the world around you comes alive. In general, it's not a holographic utopia, but an engaging and natural soundstage that makes listening an adventure. The music floats, and you're in the center of a whirlwind. Comparing the Fosi Audio with the Simgot EA500LM, I couldn't decide a clear favorite here. Well, if you're looking for an open back design for home use with a natural fatigue-free sound and wow stage, then go for the Fosi Audio IM4. But if you want IEMs with the bass for generous and brightness for details, with tuning to suit your mood, then the Simgot EA500LM is your choice. There's no winner or loser here, as both models are tops under $100. Comparing the Fosi IM4 with the CVJ Medusa, both models are single DDs with a beryllium diaphragm, but the Medusa is twice as expensive. If your budget is up to $100 and you're a fan of open air freedom with tunings, then go for the IM4. They're like a loyal body for everything. Medusa is for those who want a goddess power in bass and emotional with investments in soul and musicality. If you have to choose one, Medusa is slightly ahead in coherence, but Fosi is not far behind and is cheaper. And comparing the Fosi IM4 with the Sivga Que UTG, which is also single DDs with a beryllium diaphragm, the Fosi IM4 is for those who want a versatile, tuned, open back design with a warm V-shaped and all-day comfort, which is ideal for beginners, while the Sivga Que UTG is for audiophiles who love crystal clarity, U-shaped punch and premium wood design. If you are a fan of details and glass shine, this is your talisman. But if you are a fan of bass and stage with tuning options, then the Fosi IM4 is right for you. In conclusion, folks, the Fosi IM4 is a breath of fresh air in a world of single DD IEMs and damn successful debut, providing that for $80 you can get the engaging, special sound without compromising on fun. The open back design, CNC aluminum shells, replaceable nozzles and a bunch of ear tips make this model actually worth the money and one of the best single DDs available today. If you're tired of closet IEMs and want air, punch and fun, then head over to Kickstarter and get them while they're still on stock. Lastly, guys, for Fosi, I respect you. Your debut in IEMs is simply outstanding. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video, stay tuned, keep hydrated, take care and bye bye.